We're joined by two members from a New Jersey-based deathcore metalcore band that has been around for well over a decade.
We literally can't say anything other than we had a lot of fun with this conversation, filled with stories, some laughs, insights, and a trip down memory lane for us.
Tonight, we're stoked to have Danny LaVarco and Joe Benducci from the band Ender. What's up, guys? How we doing this evening?
What's going on? What's going on?
Hey.
Perfect.
Hey. Before we head on into this conversation, introduce yourselves, what you guys do in the band, how's your day, what'd you eat, shit like that.
I'm Joe. I do vocals. What the hell did I eat today? I had smash burger. It was all right. I hated it, kind of, but I didn't finish it. What else? I'm sorry. What else did you say, man? I'm sorry. I had a busy day, dude.
It's all good.
You hit all the points.
You hit
that
the
was
points.
It. You good.
All right, good. Good.
We got vocals and smash burger. We're good.
Vocals and smash burger.
Very good. Very good. Sorry about that.
All good, man.
Great, thanks. And I'm Danny. I play drums. And what did I eat? I ate some lasagna my girlfriend cooked, and I think that's about it.
That sounds
Fair
good.
enough.
I love lasagna. And smash burger is okay. I agree.
Yeah, smash
It's all
burger
right.
was pretty mid. It was pretty mid.
Depends where you get it from. We got a little thing that we do here. It's called a shotgun question. So the one I have for you guys, top 3 favorite horror movies.
I'll say Psycho as one of the OG horror movies that I love that got me into horror.
Mm-hmm.
Another one would be The Conjuring and Sinister.
Sinister is such a cool movie.
Yeah, but there's so many horror movies.
The first one
it's hard to
specifically.
choose. Yeah, the first one was like the best one.
Yeah.
And Joe actually wrote some lyrics in our song called "The Ghoul" based off the movie, so it kind of inspired him to kind of write a song.
That movie was like
sick.
One of the last movies to actually like creep me out bad, to the point where I slept with my lights on that night.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. But for me, I mean, like Sinister, obviously, the Omen movies, because I have a thing about like possessed children, and I just don't do good with possessed kids. And oh goddamn, I don't know. The Conjuring. Danny pretty much said them all. Like, and then the OG slasher films, like all the Jason movies, those were my favorite when I was younger. They didn't really like scare me. I was always rooting for them, but any of the OG slasher films, Halloween, Jason, Freddy, all those.
We can never forget about Jason X, where Jason goes to space.
Yeah, of course.
That's when you know your franchise has gone into the shitter.
I like horror, but I'm more in the line of the sci-fi horror.
Oh, don't get me wrong. One of my favorite movies is Event Horizon.
Oh, that's great. I fell asleep.
Yeah, I love the Alien movies.
Yeah. Like I think for me, top 3, like off the top of my head, it's probably gonna be The Thing, Evil Dead 2,
classic.
Yeah.
The problem is there's too many to choose from.
No, and this is just like as far as like stuff that like over time I could throw on, and I'm always stoked. But there's a lot because I'm just a huge fan of the genre in general. But like for recent stuff, the Terrifier films are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're gory.
Yeah, and someone actually did puke at our viewing that I went to for Terrifier 2 during the scene. It was great.
The scene.
That's when you know it's pretty gross. I saw it a while ago.
You did see the first one, right?
Yeah.
That's the best one.
Yeah, I haven't watched them in a while.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to again.
Terrifier 2 is like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, they tried to make it an actual movie.
Either way, I had fun during it, but I'm stoked for the third one. I guess it's Christmas themed, so that'll be great.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
That'll be cheery.
Yeah, very much so.
Nothing scarier than Santa Claus.
I mean, yeah, dude, there's nothing stranger. It's just like, oh, yeah, we're going to tell kids that it's totally cool that a stranger comes down your chimney, does not get burned alive, and somehow leaves presents for you, eats milk and cookies, and goes on his merry way.
That's why you have to instill the lore of Krampus instead of Santa Claus into your
jeez.
children. Tell them that you're going to get shoved in a bag and you're beaten with sticks by this giant devilish monster.
Yep.
And
I
then
mean,
they'll
That's a great
behave.
movie too.
Yep.
Krampus was good.
I mean, I lived in Germany for a while, so they probably did something right.
Krampus.
Yup.
Uh,
Anyway,
is Hobo with a Shotgun considered a horror film? Because that's a great movie.
yeah, it is, but it's like
Or just a
I feel
slasher,
like it's
huh?
also in its own thing because
Yeah.
it's very avant-garde for a horror film.
Yeah.
I'm also a really big fan of the movie Hatchet.
Oh,
Even
that
though
whole
it's-
franchise! Like, don't get me
it's
wrong,
It's
the
terrible.
first one was probably my
really bad.
favorite, but like as it went on, it got so bad.
Oh
By
yeah.
the time they got to Victor Crowley, like the face was just like, dude, you bought this face off of Amazon, I swear.
They were really bad, but I just appreciated them for how bad they were and how much they tried. So I was a
Oh
big
yeah,
fan
it's
of
like
them.
watching Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh, I didn't see that yet.
I
really
haven't
want
seen
to.
Oh,
that.
dude,
Yeah.
it's funny. It's really funny. If you're like, I get the vibe that you guys are into bad horror movies like
The
I
fact
am.
that they have
Yeah.
a second one
Yeah.
in the making is mind blowing.
Man, just wait. Next year, Mickey Mouse is in public domain, so let's see what happens. Let's go.
Oh my
Fuck
god.
Disney.
Who else can Disney ban?
Don't care.
Yeah, no.
They exist in their whole little realm. That whatever. If you want to just keep running franchises into the ground, have fun.
Another bad one I heard was The Grinch with the guy that played
Oh,
Art the
that's
Clown.
right. They did a
Yeah.
Grinch horror movie. I heard that was like legit terrible though.
Yeah.
It was
I'm gonna
like
have to check that out.
it was like I don't know, but Brazos production. May as well be. All right, that got really silly really fast. That's all right. So like, who are you guys like main influences? Whether it's like from when you guys first started, or to now, like who's on your radar these days?
Like my biggest influence ever, man, it's Slipknot, Corey Taylor. Like that is always number one. Like the Iowa record, like shaped me as a musician. Even till now, like it holds up. Just for everything I've ever done musically, like I always find myself going back to early Slipknot records or like early Bleeding Through records. Those are always a top for me. But Slipknot for sure. When the older I've gotten, I find myself like really appreciating Korn more, just in how like advanced they were, and I didn't really like much of their stuff, but now like as I'm older, I've just dove back into it, and like so like Jonathan, a lot of the new metal vocalists for me are just where I get a lot of my influence from writing vocals, like flow wise and everything. Just I don't know, I'm like the biggest new metal fan. I think we all are, where it's just like some of those guys, like even Chad from Mudvayne, they're just all so good, and they don't get enough credit for how good they actually are. Like the stuff they do is crazy, and no one even realizes like how much talent it takes to do some of those like fast, like rappy vocals with screaming over them and like constantly doing it. So
Yeah.
a lot of those new metal vocalists, but like current bands that I mess with, I listen to a lot of like slam now. I don't really I listen to like a lot of like caveman riffs because my brain can't handle listening to too much more than that.
Fair enough.
But at the moment, I would say Sanguishugabog. If I got their name wrong, I'm sorry. And I've
I'm
heard
sure
it a
they'll forgive
million
you.
times. I've heard it a million times, and I still don't know if I say it right.
They're sick though.
But they've been on repeat, and then little not so slam, but like more in that like deathcore ish. I'm a big fan of Psycho and no, oh my god, I forgot the name of the band. Give me a second. It's Psycho something. Give me a second.
No, you're good.
I totally
Shout out
brain
to
farted.
Psycho Enhancer though. They were a solid New York band.
They're still playing.
That was a New York.
Yeah, I
band.
know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Psycho Frame. That's the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good. They're a bunch of they're from Florida, and I really like them. I don't think they've played any shows yet. I think they're just a studio band, but they're really cool. I've been listening to a lot of them.
Hell yeah. How about you, Danny?
I mean, Joe pretty much hit it in the beginning with the new metal stuff. That's still like my top things. And I always revert back to those bands. If I don't know what to listen to, it's the new metal playlist all day. And what got me into drumming was David Silveria from Korn, who's not in the band anymore, but still the way he played drums was very unique to me. And that pretty much got me into drums. And I started listening to like Motley Crue. Who else? Slipknot, obviously. Joey Jordison. I think he influenced everybody. And as far as bands today, there's too many bands out there to name. Like Lorna Shore is a huge band, and they're doing a lot for deathcore right now, and I can't appreciate them more for what they're doing for the genre. Current is also out there, which I love, and especially from playing in some of their former bands when we played in Connecticut, it's just amazing to see what they're doing.
Yeah. It was cool having Brian on, and then we had Patrizio, their old vocalist, on, because they were in a band. They were in a couple incarnations of that band, but they used to be called. When I was introduced to them, they were called We Came with Plague, and that band was pretty good.
Yeah, and whatever band D was in, I don't remember the name, but I remember playing at the ATC, which we were just talking before about.
Yeah.
I think the Polgarian brothers were in that band too. Josh and Chris.
Yeah, but I still mess with the Muir and the Acacia Strain. Some of these bands, they never leave my playlists.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Acacia Strain is so consistent.
Seriously, they keep putting out records that just don't suck.
Miss. Yeah, they really don't miss.
Yeah, they just you hit the nail on the head. They don't suck.
Yeah, ever.
A lot of the bands that have been lucky enough to stick around in this genre can't really say the same.
Really?
Well, they managed to stay at the level that they've been at for 10 years. Like they're kind of just cruising and doing their thing. Because there are like those bands like the Knocked Loose, who, a couple years ago they were coming up, but now they're like,
oh my God.
Acacia Strain is kind of like on top of how good their music is consistently pumping out. They still tour in a van. They still tour the same way.
Yeah, they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. And they do it right. And if they're enjoying it, which it looks like they definitely are, hats off to them to just cruise like that and have just
it's on their terms.
Lifestyle. Yeah, that's awesome. So
you gotta
cool.
respect it.
Whoever's down to tour the most now, those are like the biggest bands. You look at like Lorna Shore; they're on every tour now. They're playing everywhere. They're going back and forth to Europe.
Not only are they touring, their tours are selling out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. You have to like never stop touring, which isn't bad, especially that's where all your money's made. But the bands that tour the most, those are the biggest bands. But that's been a thing forever. So now I think it's more so prevalent. It's just like the more you tour, the bigger your band gets.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, when it comes to like Korn, they were definitely one of my earlier influences. I had two older brothers, so in the mid-90s, we moved to Germany for the second time. My dad's ex-military, and first record I heard from them was self-titled, the first one.
Oh yeah.
And man, like I can't tell you what it was like being like all of, I don't know, maybe like 8-9 years old and hearing Daddy for the first time.
Oh my God. And you're like, what is happening at the end of this song?
Just like, is
no
this
context
to be
whatsoever.
Yeah, no.
There's no social
context.
media.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrifying.
Hearing bands like that, like at the age that we were.
And I craved more. That's the worst part.
Mm-hmm. I'm really grateful we got Headbangers Ball. Like that was so huge as a kid. And shaping like all the music and bands and everything I would find out about. I found out about like Killswitch Engage, As I Lay Dying, like just bands like that just through Headbangers Ball on MTV.
Yep, and they did it right
crazy.
with Josted too. They couldn't have picked a better host to do it for bringing it back at that time.
Exactly.
Very
that show
true.
was just great. It was great.
I miss those times.
I remember seeing like Impending Doom on there and being like, "What?"
Oh my god.
Yep. Yeah, all the bands I found out about, I can't even like it. I feel like so many bands. There were even like that show Road to Ozfest. There were a couple of bands that were on there that were actually like ended up making to my like just playlist when I was younger. That band Mantis, they were on there. That
Mantis
was actually
was sick.
sick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's crazy. You found out about it through MTV. Like it's nuts what MTV is now compared to how it was.
It wasn't like
that was the last throw
at
too.
Like 11 p.m. at night or something like that.
Yeah.
Prime time for a bunch of depressed, angry metalheads who aren't going to sleep anyway.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, the first time I ever heard Korn was on Beavis and Butthead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
And they put the Blind video on.
Yeah,
and that changed my entire life.
Isn't that crazy?
Shout out to Beavis and Butthead.
Absolutely.
I wish I wasn't 10 when Woodstock 99 happened.
Right.
You know, I would have totally gone.
Yeah, I think I was like, in 99. I think I was maybe turning 12.
Yeah, I was just too young for it.
But
just
still, you know what I mean? Plus, I lived like in Germany, so that wasn't happening.
Oh.
But like at the same time, I remember seeing Welcome to the Neighborhood, that Slipknot VHS. Holy shit.
Oh my god, yeah.
I remember when that came out. 99 was a huge year.
Oh my god, yeah.
I remember being in 8th grade, and it was the end of 8th grade, and Volume 3 came out. And I remember the day it came out, I had and I wasn't the day, it might have been like the day it came out, I went and I picked it up from Coconuts, the CD store. Yeah. And then it was like my whole personality trait, the end of 8th grade, was just Slipknot Volume 3. That was my whole
I'm a maggot now.
Yeah, exactly. I saw the Blister Exists music video, and I'm like, I'm one of them now.
That's
it.
Yep.
That's it.
I mean, that's peak record. That is, it's really.
They got so much hate for that record too.
Didn't they win a Grammy off that record? Then what was that?
Before I Forget?
Before I Forget, yeah.
That's
good for them.
All Hope Is Gone was a great record too, but then it kind of plateaued. It kind of plateaued after that.
Yeah. Well, they're making some choices. Let me tell you.
Oh god!
Who can they get after Jay Weinberg, man?
The whole Mike Mangini rumor kills me.
Jay Weinberg was Joey Jordison 2.0.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, Jay.
Yeah, I really
talented.
I'm confused. That's all I'll really say.
I don't know.
There has to be some backstage stuff that we don't know about.
Because I don't want to presume anything,
right.
But I also just thinking of different scenarios that it could be. Obviously there could be that's the most obvious one. There's a side to this that we're not seeing.
Exactly.
But which probably 90% of the time is that. But
well,
then
if you look at his track record, with Madball and Against Me, it's kind of on par.
It is, because the way he left Against Me was a whole thing, but also side note on that, the vocalist of that band or whoever, that's a very odd reaction to have from something that happened 10 years ago.
Still a lot of hate there.
Yeah, that's a lot of malice to hold against somebody.
Yeah,
didn't he get kicked out of Madball too?
He did. Yeah.
Yeah. So
they said he was a little.
Like I said, there's a good shot that it was that, but also, Slipknot is a business, through and through. Yeah. Corey's been very clear about that in the past.
I mean, if you're kicking out the original members, you should never feel safe.
Yeah, pretty much. But also not just that, but it very well could be just hey, we could get somebody that's younger and
we could potentially
get better.
and
for less
cheaper
money.
to pay.
Yeah.
Cheaper, too, is a
I
big
think
thing.
finances probably had something.
Like I
to
said,
do with
it's
it.
usually one of the two.
Yeah.
There's some bullshittery going on in the background that you aren't seeing, or money.
Especially because he just played a show 2 days prior to that announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. How they do that. Like how they had played that show with what's his name, Chris, and then he was just gone.
Yep.
You know that they do this.
I mean, it out of all the speculation, it could be somebody on the crew. Wasn't their bass player a part of their crew or part of another
Tortilla
tech, like-
Man.
yeah, wasn't he a tech guy? that
Oh,
first let him
yeah,
out?
he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you never know.
And then the guy they replaced Craig with, he was playing for Korn.
Mm.
Yep. I remember I got to see Korn 3 times, and each one was very unique. The first time I saw them was at Ozfest on the main stage, and that was with the original lineup still, and holy shit, was that amazing.
Yeah.
Then I saw oh no, I only saw them twice. That's right. And then the second time I saw them at the Oakdale in Wallingford, but that was the later lineup where they had like the big production and like 8 people on stage. Like they were really good because it was stripped down. They just had the Korn banner in black and white behind them, and they just played and had a light show. It was great.
I had the pleasure of being behind the Korn cage one time, and that was dope.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's sick.
But I've been to a lot of Korn concerts. A lot. The first one I ever went to was Madison Square Garden in like 2002.
Holy shit. That had to have
What
been
a show
epic.
to be at.
Yeah, and it was with Puddle of Mud and Dead Z. I don't know if you guys remember Dead Z.
I remember Dead Z, Key to Gramercy Park.
Yes.
That was one of Jonathan Davis's signings.
Yeah. One of Cher's sons, right?
Yeah,
singer?
I think
Yeah.
so. Something like
Cool.
that.
Huh.
But I have
Hey.
pictures that suck because they were like from a Polaroid camera.
Yeah, like
Oh,
a crank
yeah.
one.
Yeah,
And back
boy.
then I was like, look at these pictures. And now I look at them today because I still have them. And I'm like, why do I have these?
Oh, dude, I have a scrapbook full of old ticket stubs and pictures
I got my
from
ticket
like
stubs
shows
all over
and
my
stuff.
apartment.
Yeah, man.
They're all
Like,
over. Because
Crazy.
those are the things that really, I have memory issues, I think. But when I look at ticket stubs and pictures and tour flyers, it brings my memory back.
Yeah, man, because the whole
And it makes the
whole-
connections.
Yeah, and not only that, but like the whole landscape and just like the way things work now, it's like you don't get ticket stubs anymore unless you go to
Yeah.
a point of sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Or you can print it out and fold it up and put it in
Well,
your
what I've
pocket.
done, there's this guy on Facebook and he makes custom commemorative tickets.
Ah, I've seen that.
really.
I went back into my brain of all the concerts I went to, and he made concert tickets for all those shows. And now they're
That's
in
awesome.
frames in my apartment.
That's so cool.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
But yeah, I have some choice ones. I remember seeing Tool on the Lateralis tour in New Haven. That was sick.
I've got a Tools ticket stub from Mohegan Sun.
I'm not a
yeah.
huge Tool fan. I'm
I was
not a
actually
huge
gonna
fan.
Go to see Tool. They're playing TD Garden.
Oh
in
yeah, I'm
Boston.
definitely gonna catch them because there's also that Maynard's like 60th birthday. They're doing like a tour. It's this huge like mashup of a Perfect Circle, Pussifer, and Primus.
Damn.
That's dope.
And
Yeah, I
they're
love
gonna-
both of those bands.
Yeah, and all of them are gonna be on stage at the same time.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like a huge jam.
Yeah. Like I was saying, I'm not a huge Tool fan, but I want
Sure.
to go see their show.
Yeah, that's where it changed for me because I grew up listening to them, but I was just like, I'm a kid. This is way more like not so much their earlier stuff, but like when Lateralis came out, that really like resonated with me. So when I got to see them, I was just like, oh, holy shit! Like their show is insane.
Their show is incredible.
They're
Wasn't even
one of
planning on
the
going.
best. They're in my top 5 live bands for a reason.
Yeah,
That's
I
all
gotta
I'll
see their
say.
live show. Same goes for Rob Zombie. Like I love his
Dude,
music,
yes.
but he's not on my playlist on the normal. But when he comes to town, it's like,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
I gotta go see Rob Zombie.
Yeah, his show is so much fun.
It's a spectacle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's the only place you're going to still hear White Zombie being played.
Well, going
Yeah.
back a little bit, I mean, speaking of nostalgia, going back to 2009 when you guys started, how did everybody get together? Because we all have a story like, oh, my buddy's coming over to jam for a second, and all of a sudden it's
So
this.
yeah, so how Ender formed is everybody in Ender right now, besides Joe, we were in another band together called Yours Truly. And we wanted like a restart. We wanted a fresh start, new name, a new sound. And so we formed Ender. Mark, our bass player, named the band after the Scott Orson card books. And we had another vocalist at the time that we did one tour with. But then when we played local shows, Joe was in another band. You were playing drums at the time? Or were you singing yet?
When we started playing together, I was on vocals at that point.
So we became friends with Joe and his band, End of Terra. End of Terra?
Yeah, actually, my first show on vocals was a show with you guys. It was in Bogota, actually, at the VFW, and it was my first time ever doing vocals live. I had just moved from drums to vocals, so I was very nervous. But yeah, that was
we all kicked it and had fun and became friends.
Yep.
And then when we replaced our vocalist at that time, we were like, Joe would fit the mold perfectly musically and just personality wise. And fast forward, what, like 14 years now? I don't even know how long.
It's been a while.
And we're sitting here now doing this with you guys, and it just was a good decision.
Hell yeah, man. So what was your sound like when you first started?
I think it was a little more like, would you say it was like a little more melodic, hardcore-ish?
You're talking about for first Ender records?
Like, like sculpting.
Yeah, like, because I know, like, most of the stuff that you have out goes back to about, like, SMD, so, like, 2012, at least stuff that's, like, available. What did your stuff sound like pre then, like, when you guys first got together? Like,
to
started
me,
writing?
That stuff sounded like Early for the Fallen Dreams. We got this comparison all the time, so it was Early for the Fallen Dreams, Amur, and then they had almost like I don't know if you remember the early Recon records where there were like these little groovy parts in there. Those were like the three bands that I kind of got out of like the early Ender stuff. It was just super, super heavy. There's a lot of like catchy like little hooks, and the early stuff was meant to be played live. But back then there was a show every weekend that we were either playing or at, and then so it was mostly like that stuff was mostly like it's way better live than it was on the record.
I'll take your word for it because I'm so bad at describing what my band sounds like.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to. I think that's the best way to describe it because there was like the melodic parts, and there was the super heavy parts that were kind of like that early, like for the Fallen Dream style, and then obviously there was like the bouncy big breakdowns, which was like early Amir style stuff, and then like the Recon like grooves, like they had like those like little southern grooves, and like if you listen to a couple of our early songs, like we have like those little like all the like just out of nowhere like little like southerny style grooves, and that's where like I think the Recon comparison comes from. But other than that, like Recon was just crazy.
Yeah, they were a great band. Short-lived, but they were a great band.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's cool to see Mike Recon still playing.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think that's the best way to describe the early stuff. And then I feel like we just matured as like we kept writing music, and it just kept getting like better and better and better. But yeah, the early stuff was definitely more of like, let's go see them live. It sounds way cooler.
Absolutely. We're going to shoot forward to the new shit, though, because that's what's really important. So, you got this new song, Here to Stay. This song goes really fucking hard. What's the song about? What inspired of it? Give us the skinny.
I'm glad you guys like it, first of all. Thank you. Second, what's it about? So, it's basically about like just like basically like shedding skin. It's you're trying to leave like your old self behind, whether it's from like a toxic relationship or just something that you're trying to forget about and move forward from, but you also find yourself going back to it. But ultimately, you find, you get over it and you move on. And that's like here to stay is like, like you might lose track of yourself, but you're always gonna, come out okay in the end. And here to stay, when we just started recording it, like when I recorded the part, we kind of looked at each other and we were like, okay, that's the song title. Because it's like, it fits with the song, but it also fits like with everything we're doing right now, where it's like we haven't played together in years. We came back, we played a show in May, we put a single out, and now we're playing, another show coming up next week. And then, we have another one booked for April too. So it's like, we're not going anywhere. There's a lot of bands that feel like, oh, if they can't tour or if they can't make it, quote unquote, they don't want to do it anymore, and like they just lose track of having fun. So I feel like Here to Stay just kind of ties in everything that we're doing right now, but also sends a message of like, it might suck now, but you'll get through it type of deal.
Not a Corn cover.
It's not a Corn cover, I promise.
Fair enough. I mean, one of the things I really like about the song is, especially, like, obviously it's heavy as shit, but one thing that's like always a theme in your guys' music, and I know it's the new metal inspiration that comes into it, is a lot of the like atmosphere production and like just the alternative stuff going on, not the actual instruments being played, but like the mood you guys set. It's really cool. I love when bands do that because it just adds a whole other layer to it.
Yeah, with the newer stuff we've been writing, we wanted to add some kind of color into the music, where the littlest things you may hear in the background really grab a listener. And I feel like we've accomplished that with the last couple songs we have released. Whereas in 2009, we didn't know how to do things like that. So we just had the instruments and the vocals. And it adds such a different element to the music.
Yeah, I'm honestly all about it. I've known many bands like you guys do as well that tell me the weird stuff they've done in the studio. Like, one cool thing. Do you guys remember a band called Life in Your Way?
Yes.
Yeah. So, on their record, I think it was Waking Giants. On that one, there's this one song. They demoed that entire record with the producer that same producer that did both the Arc records, this dude Greg, and they did a demo. They demoed the record at Silver Bullet in Burlington, Connecticut, and then they were on Solid State, so they ended up going with a producer out in California, but they could not replicate what Greg had done. They did like 10 guitar layers in this one song, and it's just like, it's so subtle, but it's all there. It's really cool. I love when bands do that and just think outside the box. Obviously, it's a lot easier to do that process these days with a computer, but there's something to be said about just going through the process and just layering a bunch of shit and seeing what happens.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It can get out of control really easy.
Oh yeah. But we're having fun with these songs, writing them at home, recording them at home. We're not rushed. So we sit here, and either just by myself or with another band member, we're just adding shit in, seeing what's cool, what's not cool. And whatever anybody likes, there it is. It's done.
We have the good technology now to where you can have the songs like recorded and change things here and there, as opposed to just continuously, you obviously practice with everybody, but if you can't and you have to get a few people together just to kind of get a different feels and different versions of what you're doing, you might have to change the tone of the guitar. This song might sound a little bit different this way, and now you actually have the ability to sit in front of a laptop. That's all you really need: a laptop, board, some mics, and you can even direct in your amp, and you're kind of home free on the editing until you completely perfect it.
Well, the devil's advocate is that that's also a downfall because then you're second guessing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, could do better.
True.
Maybe this needs something else. When cases like that happen, we say, listen, we're done tonight. Let's go to sleep, come back tomorrow or the next day and see how we feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta
sleeping
know
on
when
it's
to
always
take a
good.
break.
Yeah. And Sal, the guitarist, one of the guitarists, he's the biggest in the band at saying this sucks. I don't like it. And then when the final product comes in, this is amazing. I love it.
Hell yeah. That's the process.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a lot of that in Forsaken where we'd literally just be like, this is not going to work. And we would play it to death though, over and over and over. And every time you'd either see like that face on somebody where they're like, I don't like this. And then we'd talk about it, but there was some politics in that band, obviously, where it was like,
Right.
oh, I don't give a fuck if you like it or not. But
It depends on the situation.
yeah, but the second guessing part, I definitely get that. I didn't, because when you are writing as a group, as a collective, you will go through it and then play it, and that'll be what you end up recording, and then you add the pizzazz, to it, as opposed to just hitting the space bar. Oh, we gotta try that again.
That space bar is my best friend.
Me too, especially with these. What's the writing process like? I know a lot of guys are different. There was times, it also depends. I guess depends on the song too. But a lot of times, Cameron and I would just sit there, bass and drums, and be just noodling for a while. Or
that's
just
pretty much the situation here too. It's me and Sal bouncing ideas back and forth to each other, because he has a home setup too. So he sends me something, I'll track some drums to it right away, send it back, and then we're like, let's get together. Let's really hone in on this idea and see what happens with it. And so the biggest thing that happened in COVID when we're locked down is writing music. We had nothing else to do. We started writing a lot of music that we didn't know we were going to do it because we didn't know what the state of Ender was going to be. So we just started writing music, not knowing what to do with it. And that's where we took it to the rest of the guys, and it really sparked everybody back up to do it again. Joe wasn't even in the band at the time, and we were just chatting because we were going to start a project together. And I was like, dude, why don't you just be an Ender again? He's like, all right, no problem. And then
I was itching to get back into music. I didn't do it. Like, I stopped doing music right before COVID, and I just gave up. Not gave up. I was just over it. I did a lot in a short period of time with my old band, and I just I was burnt out, and I was like, and you also need money. That was a big thing. I wasn't able to work because of how much we were touring, and I needed a job because I was also the only member that lived on my own. So there was just but came back. I was just like, I was itching to play again, and it was just perfect timing. And I also had a bunch of lyrics written, so it was also easy because they had a bunch of songs written. And I had a bunch of lyrics written, so it was just kind of just putting word on song. And
I'm like, Joe, we got 11 new songs that we don't know what to do with.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, we're sitting on a lot of new music. A lot.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, it's good to have a bunch of bullets in the chamber, man. You never know.
Yep.
True.
And speaking of the new metal thing, we have 3 or 4 real new metal songs that we rewrote that we are eventually going to touch. We're just not sure how to go about it because that's a different ball game for us.
It's not the same style of the
it's not
first 2 songs
yeah,
we
exactly.
just released as it's a complete change. So if all of a sudden we were to do that, I feel like we'd lose maybe the ears of new listeners that we've gained, and it's at the end of the day, it's whatever, but it also kind of suck.
But I'm excited to put that out though eventually.
No, you should put it out though, because this is kind of how I look at it. If you can find a way to bridge the Ender sound within new metal, then you guys got it. Don't do what Suicide Silence did.
Like a 180.
Yeah.
Like
And
they
studio
just went
stuff's awesome.
completely 180. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate that music, but it never sounded cohesive to me.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's tough because we have all these heavy songs, and then we have like, I would say, what did you say, like three or four
yeah.
songs that are just big catchy choruses, like,
Mm.
like hooks everywhere. Just they're different.
And we were a band that never had singing.
Yeah.
Up until Innocence Lost, we have a little bit. Here to Stay, we have a little bit of singing. So we're trying to build up to that
Trying
point.
to ease it in so that we're just like, maybe
No,
there's
that's
gonna be
smart
more of
though.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I also have to like teach myself how to sing. That's another big part too. I still don't know how to sing well, and I'm scared to do it in the studio. So
Yeah, when
that's-
Joe was recording some of these Here to Stay parts in my apartment, he's like, "Listen, you can't watch me do this part.
yeah,
Don't make
look at
eye
me."
contact with me. Don't look at me. I don't know
get
if
it.
it's gonna be good or if it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Hit the space bar."
I
Oh, yeah.
feel you, dude.
Yeah, most of
Yeah.
my vocalists that I've ever worked, like all the good vocalists that I've worked with, needed to be in their own, like
Yeah.
space. Nobody can look at them. It's the only way they could perform. But then when you see them on stage, you're like, what the fuck, dude?
Oh
Like-
yeah, Joe is that person too.
Yeah.
He's
It's
a different person on stage.
I always tie it into like an adrenaline and like emotion thing. Like live, I have the most adrenaline in the world. Like I can run through a wall, and then like I'm gonna put that energy into my live performance. But in the studio, I just pull up off the street in like sweats and slippers, and like I
And
got
yellow Crocs.
I got the Uggs on today, but I got to yell at people through a microphone, and I'm like, I just want to sit at home with my dog. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
recording vocals is like a whole different headspace you have to be in.
Yeah, I have to. That's why like I have to write lyrics that like mean something, and I also
Yeah.
have to like I have to put myself into the mode. So where if I like turn my back and I like tuck myself in a corner to do vocals, like it's just me being a weirdo. Don't mind me,
No, I get you. Like
Yeah.
when I know anytime I was recording vocals and it was stuff that whether it was stuff that I wrote or if dubs are one thing, but if I was ever doing like a vocal performance, like I would have to bring myself to a place that's
Yeah.
not always a very cheerful place just for the studio. You
Yeah.
know, it's one thing live, like I can get into that whole thing
Mhm.
fairly easily, but studio, you're vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that and practice, I have a tough time sometimes too, because you get into the eventually you get into the vibe of it because you guys are all playing there and it's like easy, but I wouldn't like get the same adrenaline I would as if I'm playing a live show. So practice, I have to be careful that like I don't hurt my voice sometimes, and like I have to really pay attention more at practice. But that's also a good thing too, because then you pay attention to like different muscle memory. Like, oh, this sounded cool. I did it this way. That's always like the best part about practicing. Even when I practice on my own, it's like I pay attention way more to what I'm doing. But live is just like balls to the wall. But like I don't know, I always like get worried when I'm at practice that I'm gonna hurt myself.
Yeah, it's a fine line. When I know when I first started learning how to scream myself, it was a process.
Yeah.
My two favorite bands at the time that I was listening to constantly and just doing like practicing my vocals over was Finch and Opeth. Two very
so
different
sick.
spectrums.
Wow. Yeah, it is.
So sick.
Because
I love
like
Opeth.
Finch's vocals were very much just like chaotic but controlled chaos, which I loved. But then Michael Ackerfeld, I love just the brutality and pain in that dude's voice for death metal.
His
They were
singing
they're
voice is
so good.
incredible too.
Yeah, no,
Unbelievable.
his singing voice is like insane.
Yeah, and then there's the early Bloodbath stuff too with him on it, where he's
Oh,
just like
Bloodbath is so good.
a crazy person,
Yeah.
So he's so underrated. I don't feel like he gets enough credit. I mean, Opeth is a gigantic band, but I don't feel like he gets enough. I don't feel like he gets enough flowers for his vocal abilities.
He doesn't, and like honestly, he's also one of the funniest guys ever. His humor's so dry, but if you
Yep.
listen, he says some of the most fucked up shit sometimes, and nobody catches it.
I saw them. I saw them live. Probably 2008, 2009.
What was
It was
that?
the
Ghost Perdition, or was that Watershed?
So Watershed just came out.
Peak Opeth.
That tour was the was the Prog Nation tour. So it was Dream
that the one
Theater,
with Dream
Opeth,
Theater
but
and
yeah,
It's Been
Dream
Bare
Theater,
to Me?
yeah, and 3 opened. That thing
Oh
was.
my god!
I was such a prog nerd, like back in the day.
Yeah.
And that show was just amazing. But speaking of Mikhail Ackerfeld being funny as hell, he's like, New York City, like whatever. He's like talking, and he's like, I was at this Mexican restaurant across the street, and I had nachos with some spicy salsa. So if I shit my pants on stage, I am very sorry. And then, like, sure enough, after one song they stopped playing or whatever, it's kind of quiet, and he just farted into the microphone, and it was just. I'll never forget it. I will never forget that.
He's like the Dave Grohl of death metal. It's great.
Yeah. Just unbelievable. He went from talking in his normal voice, being nice and laughing, and talking about shitting his pants, to like, I don't know, fucking like singing. They also played Masters Apprentices like for that set.
Oh my god, that song.
That's got one of the best riffs of all time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was. I'll never forget that show.
I still want to see him play Demon of the Fall live, but I still haven't gotten that.
No, that's the only time I've gotten to see them was that, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of playing with ARC. We played New England Metal and Hardcore Fest the same year and day they were playing, so it was them and Dillinger Escape playing headlining. Legends.
Dude. I've seen Dillinger a bunch. They were always just amazing.
Their show is just awesome. There's just nothing to be said, especially back when Greg still spat fire.
Yeah. I got to see them a bunch. I missed their last show. I'm kind of bummed at myself for that, but
yeah, I couldn't make the last tour either.
Me neither. Super bummed, but I got to see them a good enough amount of times.
For sure. Danny, what kit are you playing currently?
I'm still using a Dark Horse percussion kit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've been rocking with them since like 2007 or 2006 when I was in a pop punk band called Royden, which was on Hopeless Records. I haven't stopped using
Wait. Hold up. You used to play drums in Royden?
Yes.
Dude, I used to see you guys all the fucking time at the Wallingford Knights of Columbus.
You know what's even smaller world? Mark's first date with Katie, his wife, was at a Royden concert.
That's so crazy, bro.
Yeah.
My asshole hurts.
Well, that's a problem. Nothing's happening over on this end. I know we don't have a camera or video going, but nothing's going on.
Pause.
But yeah, Royden was a good time. I wasn't an original member of the band. I was only in the band for maybe like a year or two.
Sure.
But yeah, I met Dark Horse at Bamboozle Festival when I was playing with them, and I haven't felt the need to switch my equipment yet. So
I mean, that's fair. My drummer Mike still has his oh man, he was endorsed by Battlefield. He still has his.
Whoa.
Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, same with Dark Horse though.
Yeah. They definitely have slowed down, but they're still making custom kits for drummers.
Awesome. Good
They
to
switched
hear.
a couple of different
around.
owners. I think the drummer of Gaslight Anthem was an owner at one point. And now the owner is my friend Steve, who I've known since way before Dark Horse Percussion. So it's just like a really personal, friendly level that we're on with things.
Hell yeah. I know this is always a topic of contention, especially with drummers. Cymbals.
Mm-hmm.
What are you using?
Zildjian.
Okay, good.
Zildjian, yeah. When I first started playing drums, I had pasties, I had Sabians, and I kept wondering why. I'm like, why is every cymbal I have broken? I'm like, all right, I gotta switch it up. So now I'm using Zildjian A customs. They're not broken. Um, they're expensive, but they're quality. So
They last for
yeah,
a while,
they do.
considering.
Oh yeah.
I would
you
Like
can
love
the
to
get shit
pay
out
the
of those.
money. I would love to pay the money for K's, but they're so expensive.
Yeah, I got A customs right now, but the K's are just on another world expensive. I can't.
Yeah, I would love like a sweet ride. That would be awesome. Or one of the
Yeah,
hybrids.
I mean, I'm good at stealing stuff, but I can't steal anything from Guitar Center like that. So
Nah.
if you see me having K customs at a show, just know I did some bad shit to get them. Not legal shit. But I'm rocking A customs all across the kit right now.
All right, cool to hear.
I have OCD, so if one symbol is a Zildjian, they all have to be.
I'm the same.
So-
I'm the exact same. I'm not like that with guitar gear, but when it comes to drum stuff, it's like I have to have all the same hardware, all the same symbols. That's how this works.
It's definitely an OCD thing.
Yeah.
One stand is DW. I have to go get all DW stuff.
Oh god, DW hardware can be like is pretty nice, but I'm honestly a big fan of the Pearl stuff.
Mm.
Just
They make good
hardware
equipment,
wise,
too.
their
Yeah, they
drums
do.
are okay.
Yeah, my first drum kit, was it a Pearl? No, it was a Tama Swing Star, which I think is like a jazz kit.
Yeah, but every metal drummer I knew played one.
Yeah, but when I was
they
in high school, they got a new kit, and I was in the high school band, and they let me have a Tama Swing Star for $0.
Hey.
So I was like, yeah. But what
Why
I
would you
really
pass up?
wanted was the whatever kit David Silverio was playing at the time. I'm not sure what the kit is. I think
Oh,
it was a
God.
Pearl.
He
Or-
definitely was a Pearl endorsee, if I remember right.
You think so?
I think so. Hold on.
Yeah, now I'm Googling too, so. Yeah, no, I don't know if it's a Pearl or not. Tama.
Oh, he was a Tama guy. Yep.
It was a Tama. Yeah.
That makes
Tama
sense.
Star
too,
Classic.
though. You know what drum company gets no love and is extremely underrated? Sonar.
Sonar.
Yeah, their Sonar Works is based over in Germany. I work at a music store. We have one of their Benny Greb signature snares, and holy shit, holy shit!
I don't think I've ever used a Sonar.
Danny Carey plays Sonar as well. Yeah,
Super niche.
yeah.
You guys have done a lot of singles aside from your EP from like 2014. What are your thoughts on that? There's a lot of bands that are doing the single route right now, where it's every couple months there's a new song, and then the record drops. How do you guys feel about that? Singles or full
So
albums?
we do have the plans on releasing an EP. We wanted to so I feel like Spirit Box, when they first came out, they did it right. Like as right as you possibly could. Music videos for everything, single at a time. It's mostly an attention span thing. So I feel like a lot of people, they grasp onto singles, and they, if you have a good enough song and it's a single, with TikTok, with Twitter, Instagram, just everything now, your song can go viral just so quick on a single. So our plan is just to release singles, and hopefully build up the want for more than that. So then when the EP comes out, all the songs you've heard are going to be together, but there's also going to be a few more songs or a couple more songs that you haven't heard. But I think now, the single route, as opposed to back then where back in the day, you release like a single or two, maybe like like a lyric video and like a visual or something like that, or just whatever. But now I feel like the way to go is, visuals for sure, but singles are probably just put all, your funding and everything into one song at a time, and then you put out an EP if there's a want for it. But if there's no want for an EP, there's no real need of doing an EP now. You could keep putting out singles, whatever. Eventually, you can put them all together, and there's your EP. But I think the way to go now is just releasing one song after the other with some type of visual behind it. You can do merch with the single. That's just the best way to do it in this TikTok era.
Because you're almost releasing an album every time. There's hype for it.
Yep.
And there is the want that does create the want. Because if you guys were, say you're on a schedule of every 3 months we're dropping a new single and seeing what's happening with that fan is going to wait those 3 months for that single to drop on YouTube to either watch a music video or a visual. I don't know if you guys remember, but there's one band I can think of that did a music video for every single one of their songs on a record. CKY.
CKY.
Yeah.
CKY, yeah.
I have the DVD, the
So do
music
I.
video DVD. Yeah. And that was, I mean, interesting because not every song on that record was like a top banger,
Right.
but they did it anyways and
Yeah.
put it out on video. And, I bought that when I was in high school. Still have it.
Yeah.
I mean, the only band I could think of recently that did that was Spirit Box. Funny enough.
Yeah.
Face Yourself. I don't know if you guys have heard of a band called Face Yourself.
No, I haven't.
So they're friends of ours from Jersey. Eric, the drummer,
Cool.
he directed some of our music videos. So he's a music director. So they put out 3 EPs this year. Every song has a music video.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
But because of them doing that and then also going the TikTok route of, their vocalist is very good. And she has done live playthroughs. She's getting so much, people are, literally just in awe of her vocal ability. And because it's a female doing this, they're getting so much even more hype based off of it. And then they're doing it the right way. And the right way is basically social media. Now that's pretty much what controls everything. It's basically I don't know. I feel like it's MySpace on steroids, TikTok right now, with the amount of music that's on it. Whether or not it's a full song or not, I mean, we rarely get a full song on TikTok, but if you get just a breakdown in a song, that has a crazy part, that can go viral on TikTok, and then all of a sudden your song has got, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of plays on Spotify.
I always consider just writing a 30-second song, just posting it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Write a crazy breakdown.
I remember
the Locust.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Dave, Billy Mays. I have this silly idea of a project that I've had in my back pocket for well over a decade. Me and my old vocalist Alex from ARC, he used to joke about how we wanted to start this grindcore band and just call it Billy Mays.
Billy Mays here.
Just be 30-second to minute long songs that are just Billy Mays adverts screamed.
Yeah.
I'd follow that on TikTok if you did that.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
All you need is the right content creator to duet you, and that's it. You're off to the races.
I would just go the Infinite Annihilator route and just make dumb and just hire actors to just do lewd, ridiculous music videos.
Yeah. Most of the people in those music videos that they do are actually them.
Yeah, I know. No, that's the difference. It's I want nothing to do with that. I just think it'd be more fun to just hire people and just make them do dumb shit.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I would do the same thing.
Well, then you have the playthroughs, like you mentioned. If you do a guitar playthrough or a drum playthrough, then somebody gets to see a different aspect. Or even if you're just doing a random vlog or videos, that whole aspect of social media gives the because I'm sure you guys as well, we're fans of music. So whenever we got a behind the scenes portion of a DVD,
that's an interesting point that you point out, because a Facebook friend of mine, Nicole, she sings in a band called Renavar. She posted a status asking music fans, what do you like to see? Music videos, visualizers. And all the comments, I went through all the comments, and they were all divided on what they like to see. But they pointed out BTS stuff, playthroughs, music videos, lyric videos. visuals, and they all had legit reasons behind to why they liked that certain aspect or certain video. A lot of people would say, I like lyric videos because I could focus on the music. The music video aspect would take their attention away from the music. Whereas people said, I like music videos because I like to see the band themselves. I like to see their creative, besides their creativity in music, their creativity behind the video. And playthroughs, obviously, musicians like to see what other musicians are doing. So it was nice to see a good response across the board there.
Yeah, I think we all kind of want to. I mean, even myself, like, I would want to see all of it.
I love drum videos. So
yeah,
same.
I love drum videos, rig rundowns, like stuff like that. Just
I love those too because I'm always trying to improve.
Yeah,
like, what am I not doing right? What are you doing right? Let me try what you're doing.
Yeah, it's crazy the age we live in, because like just this whole bit about talking like how the music industry runs now. Like now you can just have a whole spreadsheet like set up for the year. It's like, okay, release a song. Like think about it. You have 6 songs. You can just dedicate releasing one every other month, but each song can have a lifespan of over a month if you play your cards right and do it right by splitting up, having these different playthroughs. Then you have like people doing their reaction videos, so you have a whole second like half life of the single like getting spread around, and then boom, you got another one ready.
Yeah, we're new to reaction videos and we love them. We just started getting them done.
They're great
with Innocence Lost, and just seeing people react to them is like a whole different level.
I saw Keem,
and not even the creators.
I saw Keem do one for you guys.
Who?
Keem.
Oh, Keem. Oh, yeah, Keem. That's funny because Keem was actually a fan when we released the Cataclysm in 2016, before he was doing reaction videos. And so we were like, do you want to throw it back and do one for that? And he was like, say less.
He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah. And the fact he's playing with the Browning is cool because they kind of broke through when Ender broke through in 2009, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So to see Johnny still doing it is...
Yeah, I saw that they were still making music. It's wild.
Yeah. And now he's playing bass for them, so it's awesome to see.
That's sick.
Yeah, Orion's another big...
he's come up on TikTok. Too. Him and Metal Burb,
yeah.
Yeah, they've come up on TikTok. They've kind of taken advantage of the, the 30 to 60 second clip of taking a part of a song and just having a really cool reaction to it and posting it and it getting, hundreds of thousands of views.
He really helped promote Innocence Lost by his reaction video.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the new way to have your music review now is the reaction videos.
That and getting on playlists too, submitting your music for playlists on Spotify. Because if you get on the right playlist, whether it's like the deathcore playlist or the metalcore, whatever, someone has that playlist downloaded, listens to it every day they go to the gym or whatever. Every time they listen to your song, that counts as a play technically.
Yeah,
so if you get on one of those playlists, that's huge too.
Because if they add your song to that playlist, they're going to hear it.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is this?
Yeah. Because a lot of people listen to those playlists on shuffle. They don't, so, your song could pop up once a day for somebody at the gym, or something like that. And they never heard you before. And that's pretty much the big thing now is just playlists on Spotify. They've taken over.
Damn, what are we talking about? I forgot.
No, that pretty much nailed it on the head. We were just talking about like singles versus albums and EPs and like how stuff is now. Yeah, man. Oh man,
it's so much different.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I just remember like Dave and I talk about this all the time. How like I remember being in bands in high school and like popping up flyers everywhere you could. Like,
selling
there was MySpace, but there wasn't so much like MySpace was cool because it was easy to just book shows and like
Yep.
I booked the whole
like,
tour on MySpace. The whole
that's
first
what
Ender tour.
Everybody
Yeah,
did.
we booked tours through MySpace.
Yeah.
It was so simple and like it was cool. Everybody was like really cool. Like you didn't know if you were dealing with somebody legit or not. You just grit your teeth and hope for the best. But most of the time,
we're gonna
it
show up
always
to
worked
this
out.
location. We'll see what it is.
Yeah,
See what happens.
you're either gonna have a cool show or a fun story.
Yeah, I remember that first tour when you were in the band, Joe. We had a lot of shows that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
We called it a sightseeing tour, pretty
Yeah,
much.
we had basically, it was like 11 shows, 12 shows, and I think we played 4.
Damn.
Yeah, and we
That's
drove
rough.
to every city. We drove to every city.
Yeah, we showed up.
Yeah, and we were told
Yeah.
like hours in advance, like, yeah, it's not gonna make like pre-sale or whatever. And we're like, all right, that's cool. I guess on. Yeah, there was like I think towards the end of that, I'm looking at actually the flyer right now. So I remember playing in Freehold. I remember playing in Long Island, and I remember playing that show in Waterbury. And then I don't know if the rest of them happened up until we got to Michigan. And then that last show in Michigan was with For the Fallen Dreams in the basement of a VFW, and it was a dirt floor.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
Show was actually crazy. We met the dudes from, you guys remember that band Monsters?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we actually met the dudes from that band at
Nice.
that show. That show, it pretty much made up for everything because of how awesome the show was.
Doesn't matter if the people are there. It's going to be a good time.
I want to say Ark or Forsaken was on that Connecticut date.
Probably.
Sure.
It
was
wasn't the
probably
APC, it was like
Forsaken.
Was it South Street Stage?
some water.
I don't see the venues on the
It just
flyer. It's
says
just the
Waterbury.
town.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think I remember it. I think I remember it being almost like a VFW room, and the bands had to come in through the back. But I think everybody came in through the back. I don't remember. I just remember being a white building, and it was a VFW looking style. That's the only thing I remember, and that's crazy. I even remember that much.
But there was a show that all three of our bands did play together, but our set time was like 2 a.m. in Connecticut.
It was a bigger room. It wasn't.
Oh.
It wasn't hard.
It was a big stage, man.
gigantic, dude.
And I couldn't find the flyer on my computer, but I know this happened because I was so pissed that night.
I'm trying to remember, man. It's just so many shows.
And if I recall, Cameron was your drummer in Forsaken, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His kit was set up pretty much in the middle of the merch floor.
Oh, they all got head tattoos before the show, or like the day of, or something like that.
Oh, shit.
Like they got their head like something. I don't remember. That's
Well,
crazy.
yeah,
I
John and
remember
Cameron
this much.
definitely have their heads tattooed.
Yeah, that I wouldn't be shocked if they got it done the day of. And when
John,
the show.
dude, not to throw a long story, but like a long story short, we played a show at the LNG in Forsaken, and John went to a piercer and got his ears scalped out. So he went from like an inch and a half to like 3 inches in one day. And then we went to McDonald's. I was thinking about this the other day, and I remember it being like somewhat chilly out, but rainy, and our van sucked, so everything fogged up. We couldn't see shit. And I remember going to McDonald's in New Britain, and John making sandwiches with like a double cheeseburger. He put fries, chicken nuggets on it, and like the whole thing. And they were just like drenching it in sweet and sour. It was just like a whole thing. That's what I remember. But I remember playing the show, and John's just bleeding, just like both ears, just bleeding down his neck and his shirt. And yeah, they would do stuff like that where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go have ear surgery, and then we're gonna go drive an hour and a half to go play a show. What could go wrong?
I know. I actually, I think we're talking about the right John. I actually ran into him in Connecticut a couple of years ago at the Webster. We were playing a show, and his friend's band was playing. This was my old band, and it was like staring at him for like probably a good 20 minutes. It might have been weird if he saw me staring at him, but
Well, yeah, when you stare, Joe, it's kind of like
menacingly.
He was working at the Webster for as security for a little while. So.
Yeah. So we finally recognized each other and we were hanging out for a bit. But yeah, I was just staring at him because I was like, why does this guy look so familiar? Like I know him, And sure enough, I knew him.
That's always a small world.
Yeah. I mean, we used to play in that area and just if not like just Connecticut, just so much. And I made just different friends through playing Connecticut. So I'd always see people that I'm like, you look familiar, and I just have a problem like staring creepily.
You ever find that everything comes full circle, Joe? It does, right?
Sooner or later.
Like, hey, remember 10 years ago? Yeah. Well, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Just like this podcast, like we're doing.
It's crazy.
Like how we know Dan is because of playing shows like this back in 2010, 2011.
Yeah, man. It's really wild. I talk to guests about it all the time, man. It especially being an ARC and being lucky to have the platform we had for a small time. I still get people no matter what state I live in. I will, no matter what job I'm at, somebody will recognize me. It's so weird. It's like humbling, but like it's just like really odd.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, I know you from somewhere. Did you play in this band? I was like, yeah.
That's why that's one reason why I love music.
It's crazy. So many people you network with that you don't have contact with, and then you run into them years later because of music again. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, pretty much,
Truth.
man. It's been really awesome talking to you guys, honestly.
Oh, yeah, it's been a blast.
This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like we were just saying, man, it's just a trip to we've had a bunch of friends on that we've known for a long time, and just having everybody like kind of come on and just do their thing. A lot of people have been stoked on this, just having, just getting a different perspective from bands. Because a lot of people don't get to, sit down, or especially like, with you guys or some of the other bands we have on, most of the time they don't get the opportunity to get on, like, they're not on Garza or like, Jost's podcast, or, they're not on that level, but like, that obviously that'd be sick. But at the same time, we have a close network of people, and like, it's just cool to see everybody come together, and I'm glad everybody's still playing, more importantly.
Yeah, well, that's why I was so stoked when you announced this podcast, because I was like, dude, like, let's get on this and shoot the shit.
Yeah, exactly, man. I'm super stoked for whatever you guys have coming up. Now is pretty much like the floor is yours, man. Like if you have anything to plug, shows, future releases, this is it.
We have Innocence Lost. That's out now. That's been out for a while. We also Here to Stay. That is dropping soon. By the time this is out, it'll probably be out already. So I hope you all like it. We have in December, we're pretty much just going to be, putting out more music. We have, like we said before, we have so much in the tank. So hopefully get another, single recorded sometime between now and the end of the holiday season to have out by the new year. And then we have a show in April. The bands haven't been announced yet. We're still working on that, but that's going to be the 17th at Debonair in Teaneck. So that's going to be a good time. We're working on a nice little special show with bands. Again, I always like putting on my friends' bands.
Yeah, we're trying to do that a lot more.
That's a big thing, like just putting them on, because it's so hard to get a local show now around here for bands. So
we're not trying to be big or anything. We're trying to have fun with our friends now.
But shout out to This Curse. They're our boys. They've always been our boys. They're actually putting new music out. They have new music out, so check that out.
Just gotta correct you on that Debonair show. It's
It's April 13th. Sorry about that. Empty Vessel, Liminal, Ocean of Illusions. So many bands. Enox. I could go on for days. But yeah, man, we're going to be putting new music out, especially in the new year. We're hopefully putting a couple more singles out and then an EP for sure. But our goal is to play shows maybe once in a while.
Yeah, no touring.
No touring for us. But we're definitely going to be playing shows. We still have the itch to do so, so we're going to be doing so.
Yeah, if you're a record label, don't email us.
Yeah, we're going to say no.
We're going to say no. No.
But yeah, thank you guys for having us. This is awesome. I had a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah, it's been a blast.
I had a really rough day, so this is awesome to kind of just kick back with you guys. So this was fun.
Good.
But yeah,
Glad
man,
we can.
really appreciate you guys having us on, and stay tuned for more from Ender. Here to stay, bitch.
Not a corn cover.
Hell yeah. Oh no, thank you guys for coming on. I know we've been talking about this for quite some time, and we finally got it to get going, and it's awesome. Maybe hit some of your boys' bands up. We can have them on. I mean, we're always down to have new people on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Liminal, they're a bunch of young kids from Jersey. They're really good. We actually played our first show back with them, and they're going to be on our one coming up November 25th. But Liminal, they're cool. They're young kids. They're dope.
Liminal, Face Yourself. Who else?
So many
you mentioned. Yeah,
Awesome.
we're gonna tell them to hit you guys up. You guys are gonna hate me.
No,
it's all good.
Send
man.
them our
we're
way,
happy.
man.
We're happy to talk with anybody. It's all good.
Yeah.
Do
And
it.
shout out to bands like Lorna Shore and
Yeah.
Sentinels
yeah.
and Currents for just doing the damn thing still.
Yeah, absolutely.
Putting
Love
a name
those
out for
dudes.
deathcore out there and
Jersey
stuff.
on the map.
Yeah.
is all that I am, forever here to stay. Truth in nothing. This is all I am, forever here to stay.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
Listen on Spotify where you can follow and rate this show. If you prefer YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell so you have updates for full episodes and exclusive clips.
Find all of these links at our link tree. That's www.linktr.ee/Tales from the Soundcheck podcast.
And stay tuned for more news, future merchandise updates, and coming soon, our Patreon, arriving in 2024.
If you have any comments, questions, or booking inquiries, please send us a message on Instagram at Tales from the Soundcheck podcast.
Or shoot us an email at talesfromthesoundcheckpodcast@gmail.com.